Hey yo, what's up, it's GioEra, welcome back to another Dauntless video. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing brilliant escalation runs. So yeah, before we go right into the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, it really helps me a lot, and you can always unsubscribe later. So yeah, now let's go right into the video. For this couple of videos, or for this playlist, I'm gonna be doing escalation runs, radiant escalation runs. Radiant escalation is a new type of escalation, and it needs to be maxed out for its perks and like amps and all the stuff. So yeah, we're gonna be doing runs for that, and I'm gonna be counting times for these runs, and yeah, let's get right into it. For the first run, I jumped straight into the radiant escalation for 10 to 15, not knowing what it would bring, because I forgot that you have to first do 1 to 13s and then you have to do 10 to 50s. So once I was there, I there was light 1 co-shine in the first round, which was kind of hard for the first time. Also, I was level 9. So yeah, there was also this perk which was Indecent Incarnation, which when you die you get trapped in a radiant shield. So that was pretty bad too. So yeah, I sucked at this one because I died a lot. So yeah, the light 1 co-shine did 30 of me, so I died 3 times, and that ended the escalation. For the second round, I went into the 10 to 50 round again, which where there was Moonwheel Strike, which I thought was easy to take down. So I did do that. I took it down, not really easily, but I died once or twice, I think. So yeah, once the Moonwheel Strike was down, I went to the second phase of the escalation, and there was a really bad duo for me. I think it's one of the worst duos in the whole of the game. It was Thunder the Brask and Stormclaw, which is really bad. It's like a really bad duo. Beginning, I thought I was going to take them down because it was a normal Stormclaw and the Thunder the Brask, but I was doing little to none damage, so I died really easily. I also got one-shotted a lot of times, so yeah, that was that. So after this round, I remembered that I have to do 1 to 13 escalations first. So I switched out Discipline on Cell to Iceborne for more survivability, which I didn't need, but I did that anyways. So yeah, this is the third round for the radiant escalations. First there was Strike, a normal Strike. I defeated that Strike pretty easily. It had shields, but it didn't do anything for it. Died in a couple of seconds, or like 1 minute, I think, or something like that. Once the Strike was down, I picked my first amp, which was Flicker. It was Lantern ability, also causes you to enter resolve for 1 second, making you immune to stagger, and reducing damage taken by 50%. This is a new amp for the escalation, radiant escalation, so I was really keen to try it. It made you like instagable, and also it gave you like 50% less damage. So that's pretty cool. For second phase was Boreas and Nasher, which was really easy too. I did it. It was light fork for me. The Nasher died like in a couple of seconds. So that was for Nasher. Now let's go to the Boreas. Slam that on him, do a lot of damage, and then kill it in a few attacks. And that was done. Now I'm like looking around for the clues or something like that, and also looking in the map because I really like this map. Next MP is Earthshaker, which is landing from a jump, creates a radiant explosion that deals up to 1k damage and can interrupt Behemoth. Can't occur more than once every 5 seconds. So basically, when you jump and then when you fall, you do radiant damage. And also you can interrupt Behemoth with this. Also in this third phase, I found these radiant turrets, which deal damage. So I had to try it out, but first I went to the Velemir. I did some damage. As you know, Velemirs have a lot more damage than the other behemoths. So it took a bit to kill this one. Also, I tried radiant turrets, and that took some time too. So yeah, this is the radiant turrets. What they do, you like click on them, activate them, and it shoots out these radiant explosions, similar to what you do on the new amp when you jump. Here I wanted to kill the Velemir with only the radiant turrets, but I got really bored, and I wanted to kill it faster. Now let's continue to the final phase, which is the fourth one for the 1 to 13 escalations. For this I picked the Shadow Dodge, dealing the magic elements charges of Shadow Dodge. Dodging through an attack to expend a charge, causing an Emerald explosion that can interrupt Behemoth. And lastly for this round was Embermane and Firebrand Charok. Also I looked around the map a little bit. Firstly I went straight to Charok to kill it because it was stronger. I didn't have a lot of problems with this because they were weaker behemoth, so I took care of them really easily. And that was Firebrand Charok. Now let's continue into the Embermane. Here I wanted to try the new amp, but it didn't go out, and I wanted to interrupt it with a new amp, but it didn't work, so I just used the old method of attacking the behemoth until it dies. So broke some parts of the behemoth, and yeah, and this one was light work too. And yeah, that was the first round of the escalation. It took approximately 6 minutes and 45 seconds, I think. And yeah, we head to first talent point given to us, and with that I went to the lantern thingy in the Ramsgate, and I purchased first passive, which was Zai's revolver. Every 6 weapon hit equates a small explosion of a random element in front of you. That does 20% the 20% of the damage of the last hit, and went straight back to the escalations and started my fourth escalation one. So this is the fourth attempt of the Radiant escalation. First it was Charok, which was pretty easy behemoth to deal with for the first time. Took care of it in a couple of seconds. It went into enrage mode, but it didn't last forever because I broke some parts and killed it easily. Break off the tail right there, dodged the fireball and slam dunk, and finished off with the lantern. This time for the amp it was Lotus of Power. After using the lantern hold, create a power circle that points plus 30% damage for Slayer within it, and refers to the amp owner. So yeah, for the next round it was the first run and the lesser Ember main. First I went to the Ember main, killed it really easily in like 5 seconds or 6 or something like that. Then I went straight to Skarn. Yeah, took care of it really easily too. Then did a slam dunk and did 5k damage. In total it was 10, but it was 5k stagger and 5k part damage. And with that it was dead. And now let's continue into the third round. Here I picked Elemental Form Umbral. On lantern hold, enter the Umbral form for 10 seconds, counting 15% increased damage dealt, and entering any form while this is active causing an Umbral explosion, damaging nearby behemoth for 500. So for the third round it was Deep Frost Nasher. Went straight into it, thinking it was gonna be like a harder behemoth. So typically for the escalations, well, for the 1 to 13 escalations, the third round is going to be the hardest one of the bunch, because there will be no lesser behemoth like in the second round or in the fourth round. There will be some lesser behemoths like lesser Ember main, or lesser Nasher, or lesser Trask, or lesser Quill Shot. So I tried to break the weak parts of the behemoth, like the legs, because I wanted to let it fall down and stagger. Didn't quite work there, but I went back in and tried to break the parts. Got the first leg part break, then the head, and then for the slam dunk, nothing really happened. I was hoping for the part break, but it didn't happen. Here Nasher tried to throw an ice ball. It hit me, but it didn't slow me down a lot. It did, but it was nothing really. And for the last hemp, I went with Home Field Advantage, which is planting your banner creates a power zone that grants plus 20% attack speed, plus 25% damage, and plus 20% damage reduction to slurs within it. And this is one of the amps that are like, I think, one of the most creative amps in the game. It involves you to plant your banner, which is pretty cool. Here in the first round it was Savit and lesser Cool Shot. Savit is like one of the most annoying behemoth in my opinion, but Cool Shot I killed it really easily. I then planted my banner to see this new amp, and it gave you attack speed and damage and all that stuff. Did light work of this Cool Shot, and then I went straight to Savit. Here it hit me, but it's okay. I went straight back to the I threw the ice lance, which broke its arm blade or something like that. I don't really know what it's called. And yeah, I tried to break all the parts before killing it because I had this new quest, but I didn't do it, unfortunately. So yeah, took a couple of tries to kill this one, not a couple of tries, but took a little bit of time to kill Savit because it like goes around and it's like really annoying if you ask me. I also had lightning weapons and I also had shock weapons, and Savit is also a shock behemoth, so it did less damage, but it's okay. It died. So yeah, this was the fourth try of the Radiant escalation. It took approximately like again 6 minutes and 45 seconds or 50 seconds. So for the next talent point, I went in and grabbed the fleet, which is passive upgrade, gains 3% movement speed, gain additional 3% movement speed after each successful round, and then to sign for the fifth try of the Radiant escalation. For the fifth round, this was once again Strike, which was dealt with really easily. Now let's continue and take our first amp, which is Shadow Dodge. Dealing damage accumulates charges of Shadow Dodge, and dodging through an attack expands a charge, causing an Umbral explosion that can interrupt Behemoth. We saw this amp in the Umbral escalation, so we know what it is. Next round is Cherog and Lesser Boreas. Also a really easy round, if you ask me. Took care of the Boreas first, I only did head with one hit, and then killed it in a couple of seconds. For the Cherog, I went with first slam dunk, but I missed. But it didn't stop me. I went in, did some damage, and it was dead really easily too. For the next temp, I went with From the Ashes. Once per round, when you died, gain 25% increased damage and heal over time for 30 seconds. For the third round, it's once again Velimir. Use the Radiant turrets to do some damage at first. It did some damage, but it wasn't really that much. So I slam dunked the Behemoth, it staggered it, then went for the Ice Lance, and that was it for the Velimir. The last temp was Elemental Form Radiant. On initial activation, enter Radiant Form for 10 seconds, granting 5% of damage dealt as a healing to the lowest health player. Entering the form while this is active causes a Radiant Explosion, and healing nearby allies for 250. For the last round, it was Lesser Emberman and Deep Frost Smasher. Once again, the Lesser Emberman died in a couple of seconds, and Deep Frost Smasher took some time, but it died really easily too. And that was it for the fifth try of the escalation. It took also like 6 minutes, and we gained another talent point. And for this talent point, I put it in third passive upgrade, which is Executional. They deal 3% additional damage for each behemoth below 50% health, and went straight back to the 6th attempt of the escalation. For the 6th attempt, there was Nashor in the first round, which was dealt with easily. For the first attempt, I went with Elemental Form Radiant as well. Next round is Boreas and Skarn, which was pretty easy, round 2. I dealt with that. First I went for the Skarn, then there was this shield that came up with this Radiant Shield, and it had like time period. It went down in like short period of time or something like that, but it didn't stop me for killing this Boreas, which I did. Then for the second temp I went with Lantern Summoner, and the third one is Lesser Bloodfire Embermane. Killed that too. And for the last temp I went with Earthshaker, and the fourth round was Did I Cool Shot, which was heroic, and Lesser Drusk. Here I was just watching the stars, and then the Drusk hit me with the lightning shot, and I was like, wait, what did you do? And then I went in, I destroyed his tail, and dealt with that quite easily. Here for the graphics it went down really badly, but I didn't know why, so I just went with it. As you can see, the textures are like really bad in this run, but it's gonna be fixed in the next one, so don't worry about that. Still dealt with the cool shot really easily too, and this also took like 5 minutes or 6 minutes approximately. For the fourth talent point I went with the Zeiss Revolver again, and upgraded that to the second level, and went straight back to the seventh attempt of the Radiant Escalation runs. Here for the first round it was Scrape, which was different one from the others, and dealt with it really easily too. Kill it really fast. For the first temp I went with Void Blast. For the second round it was Deep Frost Boreas and Lesser Embermane. Again Lesser Embermane easy to deal with, so it was really easy to kill. And next it was Boreas, which was similar to the Embermane. It died really easily. For the second temp I went with low cost of power, and it was Moonweaver Strike on round 3rd. Here I killed that Moonweaver Strike really easily too. And for the last temp I went with Healing Dream, and it was Scarback and Cool Shot. Again, in this round the textures were a bit off, sorry for that. Killed the Scarback first, and then I went for the Cool Shot, which was really easy too, because it wasn't like a heroic version or like harder version. Cleared the 7th attempt of the escalation really fastly too. It like took 5 minutes or something like that, or like 4 minutes. Went to the Lantern thingy next to Archon Drew, and spent my 5th amp and lastly for the last talent point I went with and upgraded it to the, which was Moira's reinforcement, which is Moira has reinforced the joints of your armor, granting 5% passive damage reduction. And I also claimed the 5 levels power boost, which is damage dealt increase and damage received decrease for each active on you. So yeah, it took in total 7 tries for me to get the 5th level of this Radiant Escalations. But if you don't count the first 2, it took 5 tries, and the timestamps I'm gonna be on the screen right now, how much time it took to do these escalations. So yeah, this was the first video of maxing out Radiant Escalation. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you guys next one. Peace.